Hi, it's Joe Fay. We're into Module 3, Week 3, Financial Responsibilities of the Board. This is a critical module, and I say that because getting the finances of a board right, or alternatively getting them wrong, are what get lots of boards and lots of EDs in trouble. The public looks to us for transparency. They are giving us donations freely. They want to ensure that their funds are used properly. They want to make sure that we can account for them fully and also report on them. So the IRS creates the Form 990. There are also state forms in California that must be filled out by a nonprofit to sustain its independent 501c3 status. The 501c3 is really a gift. It allows people to get a tax deductible donation for the funds they give to us. And for that reason, it's important for us to honor that by providing transparent information about our finances, where we spend our money, how we control the use of those funds, how we protect those funds. And the 990 over the course of the last decade has changed tremendously to ensure greater transparency for nonprofits so that in reporting to our publics, whomever they are, whichever donors we have, we can accurately account for what we do with funds received. There are many, many instances, and I'm sure you hear about them on the news, of not unscrupulous individuals creating nonprofits, securing donations, making claims about tax deductibility of those donations. And because there are sadly a lot of unscrupulous operators in the sector, it's imperative and incumbent upon executive directors and their boards to ensure that we are operating both in the letter and spirit of the law. And again, not doing this well can create problems. One of the best ways to ensure that you properly manage your 990 is to have the right people either on staff or on the board. So, for example, in small nonprofits that I've run, I've had staff accountants, and those were supplemented by board members who were themselves CPAs. While they may not have dealt primarily with the nonprofit sector, they knew plenty to help advise us on the accuracy of our filings. Typically, for a small nonprofit, you'd also hire an outside accounting firm to do the audit or the review. Those are two different levels of financial assessment of a nonprofit. Or you might, if you're a very large nonprofit, have a staff in place that does that for the organization. The the other topic that I would raise here as a sidebar in the context of ensuring that your board is well protected is something called director and officer insurance. It's not directly related to financial management, but it is a tool that your board also needs to protect itself. So, of course, any organization would have general liability insurance, but along with that, nonprofit boards have something called director and officer insurance that ensures that should there be a claim against a nonprofit, it does not affect the individual board members directly. So it's, as a sidebar note, something important to have. Take a look at all the materials that I've laid out for you this week. Look carefully at the 990, which is a complex form, I would say. I filled them out. I've had lots of people fill them out and review them carefully. One of the obligations of a board is to review the 990 with its ED or president before it's submitted. That's something that requires a board meeting to do. It's not something that should be taken lightly. But take a look at those documentation. And also, I'd like a robust discussion about the responsibilities of the board as it relates to the 990 and as it relates to protecting itself and its executive director during the course of its activities. One final note, I made a mistake in Module 1. I had initially planned to assign you responsibility to list 5 board responsibilities. I subsequently turned that into a quiz in Module 2. If you submitted that for Module 1, great. I'll give you extra credit for that. If you didn't, don't worry. You can still get to 100% without submitting it. And I hope next week we'll be able to talk in some detail about the nonprofit that we're going to work evaluating for its financial, legal, fundraising, other responsibilities. Thanks very much. Feel free to email me if you have questions.